Talk to me about
Sure.
your community work, and what is it that you're passionate about in engaging with the community?
So the community work I do is primarily the cultural festivals in our city, and other way of kind of helping children for education. Those are the kind of work that I do, and I do that because that helps me to see people. They feel they are seen, Curtis. Like, for example, when I'm doing this community work, it's not about organizing this big festival or anything, but what really kind of gives me that happiness is when you see the community coming together, they participating in it.
Welcome to the Vision to Reality podcast. I'm your host, Curtis L. Jenkins, and in each episode, I speak with industry experts, thought leaders, and innovators to break down the strategies, techniques, and methods that turn their ideas into reality. Whether your vision is to scale your business, build and lead a winning team, prepare for your next big career move, this podcast is for you. Let's get started and bring your vision to reality. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Vision to Reality podcast, where we highlight accomplished leaders who have turned their personal and professional visions into reality. Today, I'm excited about our guest who will discuss people-first transformation, leading change that actually sticks. Joining me is a very impressive leader of transformation and change, Vidhyu Rao. As founder of Conda Consulting, Vidhyu helps organizations navigate complex transformations with a people-first approach, offering tailored solutions in program management, change enablement, and workforce strategy. With experience spanning tech, operations, and business design, she thrives at the intersection of innovation and execution. Whether scaling new initiatives or guiding teams through periods of change, she brings clarity, momentum, and a deep commitment to impact. Welcome to the show, Vidhyu.
Thank you, sir. So was that me that
That
you
was
were
you.
talking
That
about?
was you. And if it was up to me, I would keep going. I would keep going. But the show is about you talking and not about me. So,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Thanks. So you can see me clearly, right?
I can.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
And so let's go just dive right into it. I want everybody to know, who are you and why do you do what you do?
Well, so as you know, my name is Vidhyu Rao. I would characterize myself as a mother first, and family that I'm really possessive about. And of course, my consulting gigs that I have done, I've kind of moved countries. So I'm an Indian by origin, but then been in the U.S. for the past 29 years, and moved within the US, predominantly from the East Coast and now in Austin. And if you look at the kind of person that I am, I would say it's just that human being that is trying to see how life takes you through and go through those motions. And during those motions, I think I've done some really interesting stuff, be it work, be it personal, brought up a child who is an amazing musician today. His name is Aditya Rao. So, and a family that dotes on me. So I can't ask for more, and I love being who I am today.
And, tell us, why do you do what you do?
Well, I think it is the love for people, Curtis. And and I thrive. In fact, I'm the most miserable person when I don't talk to somebody on a day, right? So I need to talk to people, and it's not about who I connect with, strangers to friends to family. So anything that I do, I think it revolves around that. How am I going to make an impact on somebody? Is there a way that I can help somebody for them to be successful, to be better, or to actually look back and say, well, that connection really meant something for both of us. So I think that people connection is what that drives me. And I think that is also the reason why I started Kanda Consulting, right? In 3 years ago, when 3.5 years ago now, when I was looking to kind of transition from the corporate world and then figuring out what is it that I could do that I'm going to be happy about. It all started from, I would say, frustration and hope, right? So being in the corporate world, seeing those amazing strategies, and I was part of that too. The PowerPoint decks that we used to churn out and kind of build out all of those ideas and transmission, but never could translate it into action. Majority of the time, I wouldn't say all the time. That's because of the not understanding the great designs or the frameworks can actually happen only when you bring the people together. It's not the paper that you're going to be presenting, but how am I going to bring the people together and helping people to, I would say, adapt, keeping the projects moving and navigating those gray areas. That excites me, right? And that is, so if you give me a standard set of activities and say, go do it, I'm the most miserable person. I say, okay, I'm not going to be happy here, but then give me something that is so gray and say, go figure it out. I thrive in it. And in fact, if I look back when this is during my tenure at Cognizant, I was brought on. I'm aging myself, but this was in the early 2000s. I was brought on to build a learning organization for a company that was on the pivot to actually grow exponentially, where the employees majority of them are never going to be in the office. This was when people used to go to work on a daily basis in the office, and they are going to be at the client site. My task was, how am I going to build a learning organization for that population, 200,000 people? How are they going to learn? What are they going to be doing? And remember, at that point in time, internet was really, really immature, or rather it was just becoming a mainstream, even for people to think about it. Mail was there, but nothing else was there. And really looking at it, and I jumped on that. I was in a steady state job. I was very happy. When this problem statement was presented to me, I said, I'm going to do that. And you won't believe it, Curtis, that was the time when there were these small little companies thinking of these ideas of virtual learning, and we were talking to them to say, okay, now I have these people, how do I do it? So I have been a beta customer for so many of those products, and today they are all fully well established. They all got acquired by SAPs and the Oracles of the world. But I think we did something so innovative during that time. Clients started looking at it and say, how the heck are you doing this? And help us do that, right? So that's who I am. I need something that I have to build. I have to look at it through new eyes. And I think it is also because of the artistic nature that we have within our family, whether it is music or what have you. You take something that's not there and build it. And I think that is also a leader's perspective, right? You become a leader only when you can take something that's not there and build it and help people around you to build it out. Long-winded answer. I think that's who I am.
That's great. And I appreciate that. You said something about somebody says, how the heck did you do it? Right. And I'm thinking it is transformation.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is transformation? Transformation. Everybody's using it now, just like a lot of other words that are being used. What does transformation mean to you?
For me, I would say transformation is not about new systems. Many people think of it that way, right? I think transformation is about new behavior. How am I going to bring this new behavior into this culture, into this organization? And you can implement the most advanced technology, and you could say this is the transformation we are going about it. But if people don't see themselves in that future, nothing changes. So true transformation happens, in my mind, when you connect the systems, the logic to the emotion, right? Until you do that in a way, people really, I would say, understand just what is changing and the why and what's in it for me. I think that's the space that transformation really shines. And that's for me, that's what transformation is all about. A transformation is successful when I brought along the people along with the changes that I'm bringing on.
Visual that I get. This is the Vision to Reality podcast because everything I do starts with a vision. right? I use those
Yeah.
words. The visual that I get is I'm a person, a company, whatever I am. I also am a caterpillar. And what I do
Yeah.
is I slowly crawl wherever I'm going. But at some point in my life, I go through a transition.
Yeah.
And that transition is into a butterfly. I'm no longer on the ground. I'm up in the air. I'm serving a different purpose and I'm making the world beautiful.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely. That's a beautiful example. Yeah.
you like that example? Okay.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to me about how you bring people together, two organizations, to actually get them to come from being caterpillars to being that beautiful butterfly and then getting them to see it. Because I think that's the hard thing, right? We don't like change unless we know it's on the other side.
Right, right. I think it all starts, and this is what I do, right? So I'm not saying this is the right way, but for me, it works. And whether it is bringing somebody into a new role or actually running a transformation program, the first thing I think we have to, or I do, is talk to them about the why, right? Why are we doing this? Why? Let me take an example of, let's say my client needs this unicorn project manager and we have to bring them along. And my philosophy is go to your contacts first, build that network where you are going to be able to go to the trusted people, and whether it is within your organization or externally, first reach out to the people that you would trust to be put in that particular role. So kind of identifying the team, identifying the people, and then having those very critical conversations of the why. Most of the time, what I see missing is people will go about and saying, here is what we are going to be doing. This is the transformation. These are the decisions made. You are going to be part of it. Come on over. And what that is doing is that is completely alienating me or alienating the individual to say, okay, I'm just a cog in the wheel. And if I'm not there, they can replace me. So I really don't bother about this. Instead, if we take the other approach where we say, here is why you are so important for this change. Start with why them and then go in onto the transformation journey in terms of why are you important, what is going to happen, what is changing, and how is this going to impact you and the others, and what's in it for you. If we kind of take it in those, I call it the step ladders, right? So one step at a time, and help people understand that they are important for this change. They just align with you, goddess. They just rally around you. And to do that, you have to have that trust, that build the two-way trust, right? So the first thing as a transformation leader I do is to build that, I would say, the tribe. In fact, any transformation cannot happen without a village that is going to be running behind you. So build the tribe that's going to be trusting you. And then if you're able to have those conversations and activities that are for them to be done, I think it becomes a much more easier way to run a transformation program. And I've seen that succeed. In fact, and I've learned it. In fact, I have scars all over my body. I've done crazy stuff, wrong stuff. And I think those are the things that's helping me to kind of change and the way that I see things today.
Hey, I just wanted to take a quick break to say thank you for tuning into the Vision to Reality podcast. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to level up your business or career, I've got some great resources for you. To turn your business vision into reality, my book, Vision to Reality, Start Working, Start Living, is available now and filled with strategies to help you bring your goals to life. Plus, the companion Vision to Reality digital workbook is the perfect tool to guide you step by step through the process. You can grab both at curtisljenkins.com. And if you're preparing for your next job search, check out my book, The Only Job Search Book You Will Ever Need. This book uses proven marketing strategies that have been used for over 60 years to help you rise above competition to land your dream job. You can grab your copy at curtisljenkins.com. And I have great news. This book will be updated with a new version that includes recent impacts on the job search process, such as remote work, AI, government policy changes, and much more. Thanks again for listening. Now let's get back to the conversation. Vidyu, what are some of the biggest misconceptions that people and organizations have about change?
I think people think transformation will happen if you tell people that we are going to be changing something, right? If it is coming from the leadership and say, this is what we are going to be doing, without explaining to the team member at the bottom rung of that hierarchy, the change is not going to stick, right? So when you think about transformation, start looking at creating the tribe that is going to be supporting this transformation, which means you have to build a set of believers that are going to orchestrate and execute on your vision, and then talk about why did you select them. So show them the path as to why they are the people, and then communicate it down the line to every single individual that is going to be impacted by that transformation. And again, many times it fails because we think sending out some communications and some emails, we've communicated, we've told them, so now we go and start executing, doesn't work, right? Have you connected at a human level? Have you connected to to tell them why is it important for them to look through the lens of the true transformation, right? So many a times we don't do that. And as I was saying, I have done that mistake too, right? So I get overly protective and overly passionate about what I'm doing and scared if somebody comes to me and says this is not a good idea, and then go with almost like a blinkers on a horse and go try and do it, doesn't work. It fails. And in fact, those are the failures, Curtis, that I look back and say, oh my gosh, I did this and shouldn't be doing that. That doesn't work. And even today, and also how you treat the team, right? So that is another thing that I have noticed during a transformation, things fail because everybody is so charged up, both emotionally and physically. We are charged up emotionally, we are overworked because every transformation happens along with your day job. If you think about it, right? Your day job doesn't go away, and you have to go through these transformation activities. And many a times emotions take over and kind of break down a whole lot of trust that's there within the team. Many a times that's something I also coach my team members, very senior team members, and they do get emotionally vested in it and say, step back. It's all right. I mean, if there are things, even this morning I was having this conversation with a couple of my team members. Step back, it's all right, and let's look at what's in the radar and look through the lens of, you are at the top of the tree. Don't be sitting in that little branch and say, this is what I have to be doing, this is where I am. But look at the overall picture and say, what happens if you don't align and you don't navigate all these unknowns together, right? So from so there are three things that I always believe the reasons of failure. One is not telling the people the why and what's in it for them, making sure that the teams are, you kind of create the tribe around you who are going to be rallying around you to support and make things happen. And number three, help team members not get emotionally vested in whatever they are doing. I'm not saying don't like what you're doing, don't love what you're doing, but then don't get so emotionally vested where you start treating people badly. Many a times that happens, right? So that's not on. And it's very easy for a leader to kind of talk to a let's say a young consultant or a young team member saying that what you did is wrong. Instead of that, figure out how are you going to be communicating this in a manner that you are not threatening that individual. Half the time people get threatened and then they get scared and then they don't know what to do, and then paranoia sets in. Things don't work, right? When we talk about it, it sounds very simple, but then when you are in the trenches, those are so critical and we miss that. Many a times we miss it. So those are some of the things that I believe are critical reasons for transformations to fail. Focus on the people, most important.
Let me just ask you a couple of things. And yes, that fear will stifle you.
Yeah.
And I see it happen. So, first, number one is the why. What's in it for them? And number two is that's the one I need you to repeat for me.
So number two is create the tribe around you that's going to support you in this transformation. And you need not be a leader to do that, right? You could be a programmer and build that tribe around you who's going to be supporting you. Do you have the test lead supporting you along with whatever you are going to be doing, right? At every level, build the tribe around you. I think that's having that people, and I guess it comes to me because of the way I was brought up in my very young age. We were a joint family. I never was talking to only my mom. I had my aunts, my uncles. Starting from there, and I think I've kept that in my mind throughout. And that's the reason, as even in my introduction, I was saying I need the people. I need to talk to people, right? So build that tribe. That's the second one.
Okay. So, why? What's in it for them? Build a tribe of people that will support you and help team members not to get emotionally invested. Got it. This is how we get it right. Now, I want to this sounds like this comes from when you're in the company. But I'm sure as business development person, you're offering your services to other companies, and some companies probably put up some barriers. And that's
Absolutely.
because they can't figure out the value. So
Yeah.
what are they missing, right? What are they missing from the value perspective? Well, first, what are some of those objectives? And then follow up with responses that have a value discussion associated with them.
Amazing question that I deal with on a daily basis,
Yeah.
right? So as an entrepreneur and as a business development person, I constantly look for opportunities where I can serve new clients. That's what I do all the time, figuring out who do I reach out to and who do I talk to. Fortunately, I'm the kind of a person who's built a tribe. So far with Kanda Consulting, I have not had a reason to go and knock on a cold contact. Every contact that I have reached out or I reach out on a daily basis are connected through my connections, either my direct connections or through a first level or second level connections. And that's true for the people I bring on as well, right? So we'll talk about that separately. But from a business development, I believe that every client or every potential client is at a stage where they might know that they need the help, but majority of the time they are constrained with the other aspects that they are dealing with within an organization. And it could be something that's going on within an organization. They may not have the span of control to make those decisions. Or it could be that they are still not sure whether a tiny little firm like a Kanda Consulting can help them out. So who is Kanda Consulting to come and help a large organization like me? And I get that question on a daily basis. And those are the constraints that I deal with on a daily basis. How do I try and solve that? Number one, I'll try and see if there are ways that I could help them to kind of mitigate those constraints that they are in. And it could be internally, they may not have the span of control. So helping them, so kind of, I would say quizzing them. I wouldn't say coaching them, but I would say quizzing them on, have you thought about this? Have you reached out to this person? Do the other stakeholders that you're saying to say yes? Can you set up a meeting where I could come in and present to them as to who we are? And then secondly, I also talk to them about how we might be tiny, but then we are mighty. Right. So in fact, that's not my phrase. That's one of my client who said that, where he said, you are tiny, but you are mighty. But the reason why I'm saying that, Curtis, is the team that I have surrounded with are people that come with that wisdom, right? The kind of people that have done, like the way I said, I have scars on my body. My entire team has that. And I also focus on bringing in a very diverse team. You will not see one kind of people, or it could be race, creed, whatever you may have, right? If you look at my team, you will see everybody, all colors and all creeds, right? So you will see, and I really pride myself on that, because I think that brings the kind of perspective that you will not have if you have a homogeneous team. And I intentionally do that. And when I have to bring on people, I look at the entire canvas to see who are the kind of people that I should be bringing in. And that I believe those are some of the things that I try and impress upon my potential new clients. Crossing fingers, it has been working so far, and I hope it works going forward as well.
I think it'll continue to work.
Thank you.
But I'll tell you some of the things that I'm hearing in this. And we're going to talk more about your tribe and your community, because that's what I want to get into, because everything just kind of moves into that. But before I do that, I want to kind of make a statement. And it's centered around the opportunity. You talked about working, you mentioned Cognizant, for example, and people go to work every day. People leave companies every day. But I know for a fact that people don't take advantage of the opportunity to create a network while they're in certain spaces, whether that space is within the company or with their community, so that when they do go to make a pivot or they have questions in their mind about what's next, they can rely on their tribe. What is it about you and the things that you do so that people stick to you and they remain with you throughout your life, and that tribe just continues to grow?
I think it's all about authenticity, right? So I'm the person that you see. I'm not different for somebody else. This is what you see to everybody, right? So that authenticity is something I think is very important. And in fact, it's amazing you brought that example, right? Even when I started the firm 3.5 years ago, I was very scared. I knew I wanted to do that, but I wasn't sure whether I will be successful, right? So how do I even litmus test this? Will I be able to do this? I have never run a business. I've never been an entrepreneur, always in the corporate world. How will I do that? Because of the connections I had made, Curtis, in the past life through my career journey, starting from when I started my career as a young sales rep in a computer shop in India, to my last career in a management consulting firm, I had kept the connections active, right? It's not that I talk to them on a daily basis, but I'm connecting with them through some means or the other, and in an authentic manner, right? And what I did was, when I started the firm, I sent out messages to a whole lot of people saying that I'm planning to start something on my own. This is what I wrote. I'm planning to start something on my own. If I came and knocked on your door, would you bring me on? I got a resounding yes. That gave me the courage to even start. And this is a story I tell everybody. I'm so humbled and at the same time so proud of that fact, right? Saying the people actually believe that I can do something and they would bring me on. And through that conversation, even before I had set up my firm, I had registered my firm, one of those messages, and this message went out to my past colleagues, past clients, where I did not have any legal implication to communicate, and also past friends. And when I sent that out, one of my past client responded back immediately saying that, I don't know if you remember, when you were at Cognizant, you did this for me, and that got me promoted. And now I'm heading the entire global division. I need help. Come and help me. And I said, hold on, I haven't even registered my firm. Let me register. So, I mean, the best part is I started my firm with a live client. How many people can say that, right? And I had that opportunity to actually start a firm with a live client, and they are still my clients, and we do a lot of work with them. But that's the authentic way of keeping engaged is what has helped me in building that tribe.
So asking a question like that to someone directly on camera, it's really hard for them, for you, to really say what the deal is, right? Because there's the humility behind it. But the thing that I've heard is that when you were working, you built relationships while you were working, but you delivered, and you created a reputation for being someone who delivers. And then when you went to become an entrepreneur, one of the things that entrepreneurs fail to do is they think if you build it, they will come. What you did was you built the market first. They will come if you build it, because you just asked a simple question They responded to you, and now you know that you already are starting with a client or a set of clients because of the
Right.
people that you've developed relationships with, that you engage with. And so that's an amazing story talking about you as a person and your tribe. And now let me go back to your tribe because I know that you also do a lot of community work. So you're not only just this amazing entrepreneur, but you engage your community in the process too. Talk to me about your community work, and what is it that you're passionate about in engaging with the community?
I would say that leading so the community work that I do is primarily the cultural festivals in our city and other way of kind of helping children for education. Those are the kind of work that I do. And I do that because that helps me to see people, they feel they are seen, Curtis. Like for example, when I'm doing this community work, it's not about organizing this big festival or anything, but what really kind of gives me that happiness is when you see the community coming together, they participating in it, they having a stage to showcase what they could do, which they would have never gotten an opportunity. I think that is an amazing feeling, right? To say, okay, now I'm making a difference. A child that is never going to go on a stage on their own, if we are building this kind of a platform for them to come in and do it, that is not only bringing people together, that is also helping the next generation, the build of the next generation leaders, right? It is about doing things that you're not comfortable going up on stage, and how many people are comfortable going up on stage. So helping them do that and also kind of see those happy faces, I love it. I really love it. So the other side are, there are children that really need help. I mean, all over the world. I do my little part as much as possible, and that gives me great solace. And seeing and helping and educating a child, completely changing almost 2 or 3 generations in their lineage is an amazing feeling, right? So, and that's a very little thing that I can do while I'm here in this place of this earth. So I try my best. That's what we do in a very small way, nothing to talk about.
And so how do you balance that? How do you balance your community work with your consulting work, with the relationships? Tell me how you do that.
How do I answer that? I think everything is intertwined. I don't think I cannot delineate any of these things. In fact, if you look at my calendar, I don't have a personal calendar and an official calendar. I have one calendar and it has everything on it, right? Whether it's a doctor's appointment or doing something, going to a city office to go and have a conversation with somebody. So I think the balance comes from, it's not about providing equal time for each of those, but whatever I'm doing, I'm present for that at that point in time. The presence is what I think makes me going in whatever I'm doing. So if I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. I'm not going to be not focusing on this and doing something else. So I think that's what it is. Go all in whatever you're doing. Plus, I think I'm fortunate to have this amazing family that supports me in everything that I do, right? So otherwise, it is difficult. I mean, you can't do this alone. You definitely cannot do this alone. So it is with the support structure that I have, and I think I've had that for a very long time. Even when I was a young mother, and I had my parents supporting and doing whatever I was doing. And then as I was growing, my son supported me in whatever I was doing. Of course, my husband is a given, right? So I'm not even talking about him. But then these people don't need to do that. So I still remember my son, Aditya was in his high school and I had to go somewhere and I was looking at him, how am I going to do it? He said, Mom, go. You go. I'll manage. I'm here. I'll take care. So to get that kind of a support, I'm blessed. So I think it is being present in whatever you're doing at any point in time, not divvying up the time or anything. I will never say I put 50% of my time in work, 50% in other things. I can't even break that. Whatever I'm doing, 30 minutes, be present for that and then move on to do other things. So that's how I I guess I managed. I don't know if it answered your question, but
No, it answered my question, but I'm gonna double down on it a little bit more, and
okay.
it's going to include your son. So you talked about being from a creative family and your son being an amazing musician,
Yes,
and he and you, I know, blend both your storytelling and your music into your work. And
yeah.
that's very, very creative. I need you to tell me more about that and how does that work for you?
That's my happy moment, right? The happy place. I think music teaches you to listen, right?
Mm.
Music teaches you to listen to the rhythm, to the silence, to the emotion, right? And that's exactly what leadership is all about. If you think about it, if you compare those two, right? If as a leader, if I don't listen to the rhythm of what my team is doing and how they are, it's almost like a orchestra, right? And how am I going to be moving the chords here and so on? So there is a book, there is a playbook that we have, but how am I going to be managing all of that? So I learned a lot from Aditya, right? So the way he processes, the way he kind of looks at it, and he is also supporting me in Kanda, in the Kanda activity. So he manages a couple of our clients. So given all that, I think music and leadership go hand in hand for me, right? Even in my, if you look at my office room, I have musical instruments. I do play all of that, and it's part of everything that I do. So it's very important for me.
Okay, I got to ask this question. You have a family playbook?
No. I didn't mean family playbook, but when you look at a team in an organization and when you need to do something, you will have some kind of a plan or a playbook. And there are people in it and you need to orchestrate it. I was actually giving you the example of an orchestra and how do you manage that rhythm, that emotion and everything, right? So it is very similar to the music. That's what I meant.
Got it. And I can understand that analogy. My boss gave me a nice compliment after a project over 10 years ago, and he gave me a baton and he nicknamed me the Maestro. And I don't have a musical bone in my body. YouTube music, that's what I know.
Okay. Well, YouTube has beautiful music as well, right? It depends on what you choose to listen.
And I'm assuming your son has YouTube music.
Yes, he does. He does.
So be sure to give us a link to it.
Absolutely. Will do. In fact, he had an amazing podcast yesterday. He did a podcast too.
Right. So let me ask a few more questions. And this is more about you, what you've learned, what you want to share, and what you want to leave. Right. So, what's a belief or principle that stayed with you throughout your life and your career that you want to share with others watching us?
You know, what really drives me, Curtis, is the undeniable belief and faith I have, right, in the universe, right? It's not stemming from a religion or something, but then I sincerely believe if there is this universe that is orchestrating everything that you are doing today, and you do the right thing, things will be taken care. I sincerely believe that. And so far, it has worked out. And I think if I have to leave uh, a legacy here, I really want people to know that this was a person of undeniable faith in people, because that's what really drives everything that goes on, and see the good in the people, right? So if I'm able to do that, and I hope I'm doing that, I think that itself will create some amazing changes in this place. So that's what I want to leave with. I know it's very philosophical, but that's what I believe sincerely, actually.
I see. So for my entrepreneurs and business people that are listening and or watching, what advice would you want to give them for building a purpose-driven business?
I would say be truthful to whatever you have embarked on. So the purpose for an entrepreneur, the purpose is why have they come into this business, right? What really drove them or motivated them to this business, and don't shy away from that. Many a times, again, I speak to a lot of entrepreneurs that are trying to build out, and they call on me saying that you've done it. How did you do this? What works? The only thing I say is stick to that drawing board or that little paper in which you drew what you want to do. Stick to that idea. Don't digress. Of course, there are going to be minor changes, but then that's the purpose because of which you have started this business. Keep at it, go at it, right? A lot of times people will start with an idea and then they just digress so much. They do get lost in it, right? They try to do too many things. They try to do things that they may not be comfortable, and they get lost. Like, for example, for me, I get a lot of requirements that I'm not comfortable with. And I say, sorry, I may not be the right person, right firm, but I'll introduce you to somebody that could do that, right? Or I bring partners. Let's say they say, I want to work with you. So then I bring partners. I don't build it. I don't get kind of people that needs to do those kind of jobs. But I say, here's a partner. I bring the partner and they do it. So be true to yourself and be focused on what you had intended to do as part of the building of this business.
Okay. Is there a question that you had in your head that you'd hoped that I would ask you so that you could share your thoughts, your feelings, anything that I didn't ask that you can ask right now or answer right now?
Yeah, I actually I was thinking you will ask questions on the culture.
Oh,
Why is a culture of an organization important, or is it even important, right? Because in this day and age when, okay, this the question I was thinking you would ask, and let me answer it as if I was thinking if Curtis asked, what would I say? And I was thinking, if in this day and age where people are not working in the same location anymore, it's not like the 2000s that we used to do. And even though there is a enforcement, people have to go back to office, but it is still not fully enabled. And I think in this time and in the world, an organizational culture is so important, right? If otherwise you're going to lose that out, and people are not going to stick to that organization. It's not the question of how many people are leaving, it's the question of why are the people leaving. That if they have to do an analysis, many a times it's because they didn't fit that culture, right? So that is something that I think as leaders, as transformation program owners or leaders, we cannot miss that mark, right? To say, okay, everything that I'm building, while I'm talking at the level of an individual, how is this going to affect my culture? It could be an MA, it could be a new capability of bringing into the organization, it could be anything that's changing within an organization. How is that culture going to affect, and what is it that we need to do to protect it, right? So that protection of the culture, I believe, is really, really critical.
you know, we danced all around it. We talked
Yeah, we
about
did.
people, community, we change, and it didn't even occur to me to ask the question about culture because I guess I was surrounded by it, but didn't go directly at it. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Sure.
When I asked that question, I thought you were going to talk about AI because that's what everybody's talking about. And even if you talk about the culture, the people, change, you know, there's this embracing of AI, there's this fear of AI. So as an entrepreneur, when you're knocking on those doors, even with your network, is AI in the conversation?
It is. I intentionally kept it away, right?
Mm.
Because there's so much of noise, so much of talk about AI. I feel that we are missing the mark on really focusing on the people. In fact, we are doing a lot of things in AI. In fact, we just completed an amazing leadership development program where we have brought in AI as part of reinforcement. In a change program, in a massive change program, we have done an AI-based stakeholder analysis. So we are doing all of that. But that is now becoming table stakes, right? It's no longer, in my mind, Curtis, I think that is something that is anyway going to happen. How much ever you talk or don't talk about it, you have to adopt to AI. There is no two ways about it. But what is scary is people leaving the conversations about people, human connect, the culture. I think that is so important today, and we cannot lose focus on it. That's why I did not, even once you would not have seen me use the word AI. I did that intentionally.
No, okay. And then I went ahead and messed that up, right? So
Yeah.
listen, this has been a great conversation. I mean, so powerful, your wisdom, your words, your clarity. It is amazing. Your tribe. I want to know how people can find you.
Well, LinkedIn is a way they can find me. That's the only way. I'm not on other social media, but then LinkedIn is the go-to place for me, and that's where I communicate and do a lot of things there. Yeah, LinkedIn is my handle is Vidhyu Rao, so they can find me on LinkedIn.
Awesome. And we'll take your information. Do you have anything else going on that you want to share?
No, I think we covered it all. Thank
Okay,
you.
so you're just out there and you're ready to transform and change the lives and companies
Yeah.
so that they can grow or meet their goals and objectives and things like that. You are ready. So anybody that's listening, I'd say reach out to Vidyu and Kanda, and you will have an amazing transformational experience.
We
So,
try.
all right, all right. And so
Thank
thank you so much. We'll put all your information in the show notes. And for those of you still watching and listening, thank you very much. Can't wait to see you again on the Vision to Reality podcast. Take care. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Vision to Reality podcast. A huge thank you to today's guests. You can find all of their contact information in any resources mentioned in the show notes below. Also, can you do me a big favor? If you found today's conversation valuable, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a comment, and a review, and share it with a friend or colleague who could benefit from the information shared today. And remember, vision without action is just a dream. Let's turn those big ideas into reality. I'll see you in the next episode.